Hello, my name is Isabel Fernandez. This is my Around the World Suffrage and Equality presentation. For my country, I picked Japan. So, gaining the vote, when did women in Japan gain the vote for the very first time? It was December 17th, 1945. That was the general election law. It was revised and it basically gave women in Japan the right to vote for the first time. And in April 10th, 1946 was when women actually exercised this right for the first time. Fun fact, actually 39 women were voted into office that year. Both men and women voted for these women. Actually, a great deal of men voted. It's unknown if men genuinely thought women could do it or if it was for amusement or curiosity. But either way, a great deal of men did vote for these women. Some more important dates. The Meiji period. Please excuse me, I'm not good with Japanese. I don't know how to pronounce these names. It was from 1868 from 1912. The beginning of this period is basically when the concepts of human rights began to emerge in Japan, because the period before this was actually the Taisho period era, which was actually a military government dictatorship, so men or women couldn't have the vote. See, still in 1870. But in 1870, they did start to demand the right for political participation, and in 1890, men were allowed to vote. Women still were not allowed to vote, which led to the 1920s and 30s being a period of hope for women suffragists. Basically, that's when it became the most popular, it gained the most traction, and the most support. A important figure in this movement, please excuse me, I don't know how to say this, Hiratsuka Ratio. I'm sorry. Okay, she lived from 1886 from 1971. She was a writer, journalist, political activist, and feminist. She shaped modern day feminism mostly through her writing. She graduated in she was educated in Japan's Women's University, and she went on to write articles about sexuality, abortion, women's rights, the average housewife, and she founded her very own organization called the New Women's Organization in 1919. Another important figure was Mumeo Oku. Fun fact, she actually lived to be 101, which is very good for the time. She was born in 1895, lived until 1997. She was a politician and feminist. She was actually one of the first people in 1946 to get voted into office, and she held 3 political terms. Definitely was a role model for a woman in Japan for running and holding office, since she did hold that position in the House of Councils for 3 political terms on the imperial diet, which is Japan's legislation system. These are some organizations. The Young Women's Christian Association, it did not begin in Japan, but it definitely branched into Japan, obviously for Christian women in Japan. The Housewife Federation, obviously aims for the support of housewives, as average housewife, and the most important one is the New Women's Association, which their two main goals were to reconstruct the public police law of 1900, which basically legally didn't allow women to be in any sort of political rally, political meeting, anything that has to do with that, and protect women from marrying men with sexually transmitted diseases, as well as helping women who have sexually transmitted diseases and are currently in a marriage. I would rate my movement as a 15 out of 20. I think they had good tactics. I think they were well organized. It definitely was not a violent movement, but yeah. And last but not least, did women become equal to men? Short answer, no. It's not that easy. Just because it's legal doesn't mean, they're suddenly equal. But it definitely did give women a foot in the door to become equal to men. Men are very traditional in this country. They think it was selfish for women to even have an education back in the day. It took a very long time for women to get the vote. And they're definitely still doing things today to continue to strive to be equal to men.